Good morning. It's 7:33. I'm Austin Petersen, and you're watching and listening to the Wake Up America Show at wakeupAmericaShow.com. Glad to have you here. All right, no fighting in the comments section. I see you over there. You can send us a text today at 573-319-1586. All right, well, can you win at football or sports if you're straight, white, and feminist? Well, one fighter, mixed martial artist from Brazil, doesn't seem to think so. Joining us now to discuss for her premiere appearance on the show is Maria Buenano joining us right now. Good morning, Maria. Thank you so much for joining us on the Wake Up America show.
Good morning, Austin. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, glad to have you here, Maria. So you and I have been kind of chatting back and forth about you making an appearance on the program, and we've been looking for stories that might be good for you to talk about. And we saw this one just last week, and I said to myself, "Wow, yeah, this is a great story." So why don't you give us a little bit of background on this one and why you particularly like this one?
Well, this story caught my eye because I've done mixed martial arts before. I've done martial arts in Taekwondo, Jiu-Jitsu for many years. The highest I ever got was purple belt, but the art itself is just magnificent. It's very natural. So when you hear UFC middleweights come out and talk some smack against feminists, I mean, that piqued my interest. What can I say?
If feminism really means anything, it means having the ability to kick men's ass, like yourself, Maria. But so tell us a little bit. What did this MMA guy say? Essentially, he was talking about the World Cup. Essentially, I think. What was his argument here? Essentially, about feminism, why they couldn't win.
Well, he essentially just said that they're too ashamed of being straight and white to win the World Cup, and that they're too busy being shamed, and that they should just bring back the old days.
Okay, so what do you agree with him?
I mean, I'm inclined to believe in him. I do think feminism is by far the most toxic ideology that's reached the West, but I think the way that non-Americans look at it is completely different, especially coming from Brazil, with they had a communist president basically win, and he Costa came out in recent months saying about all about communism and about how uh, the communists are basically stealing the elections in Brazil. So he's already established himself in politics and as somebody who's anti-communist. So anybody who knows anything about feminism and is familiar with the history behind it is familiar with how similar it is to communism, and how most of the most successful feminists, even in the West, tout communism as their main inspiration for the movement and their involvement in the movement. So that's what really piqued my interest and really got me like, yeah, feminism sucks, and I'm glad the UFC is stepping up.
If you're just tuning in to the Wake Up America show with Austin Petersen, I'm speaking to Maria Buenano. We're talking about a mixed martial artist from Brazil who says that the reason why footballers can't win if they're straight, white, or is feminist is because they're ashamed of themselves. So, Maria, you have a background in the martial arts as well, so you've hung out with a lot of masculine guys. There was a comment that was made by director James Cameron, who directed Titanic and Terminator and all these like masculine films, and he says that testosterone is toxic, and men should remove their testosterone. Why are you rolling your eyes? Why are you making that face?
Because today's feminist movement is literally just on a crusade against anything masculine. They're not even trying to find balance or equality anymore. It's just about proving that they can do everything men can do and do it better.
So, do you think you could take me in a fight?
Definitely not. And as somebody who's rolled with men, like there weren't many girls in my gym. All right. Like we had two girls. And so I got used to rolling with men. And I just, realized that no matter how many hours I train or how many muscles I get, because I was into weightlifting too. I went up many weight classes and still couldn't beat men that were smaller than me. And you see this in soccer too. When the women's soccer team plays high school boys, they lose. It's a landslide, and it's undeniable at this point.
Maria, you're a liberty lover. I can tell by the background there with your "Don't Tread on Me" flag and all that. So I'm curious, as someone who has a pretty athletic background, how do you feel about biological men competing in women's sports, specifically like the UFC?
I think it's downright cruel and illogical. And I mean, you can look at the women's fights and then look at the men's fights, and it's just not even comparable. It's not even the same game you're looking at. And you can see that in every sport too. You look at basketball, you look at women's basketball versus men's basketball. What did they have to lower the hoop and make a smaller basketball and people still don't want to watch women play basketball? Why? It's the same thing. It's a completely different game. And it seems like a lot of the people that watch women's sports are men, and they're watching, I would say, for the wrong reasons. They're not watching for the sake of the game or to see, you know, advanced skill. They're playing, and they're watching to play women, watch women play sports in their little uniforms, and it's become, women's sports has become a joke. It's become a meme, and it shows. And that's why when these feminists talk about, oh, women can do it just as good as men, it makes it even worse. And I just can't help but laugh and roll my eyes.
If you're just tuning in to the Wake Up America show with Austin Peterson, you can send us a text 573-319-1586. That's 573-319-1586. Maria, is there anything else about this story or anything else that you think that our listeners should know before I let you go?
Um, Besides the sports thing, I would like to say that feminism has a lot of misconceptions. A lot of people today, they think that, especially in America, they think that feminism was always about equality and equal opportunity, but it just goes to show that, especially when it comes to sports, equal opportunity is never a factor. It's equal outcomes. It's about pandering to identitarians, and it's not about helping women.
That's good stuff. Maria Buenano, her first appearance on the program. Thank you very much for joining us. We appreciate you very much.
Thank you as well. I had a blast.
Thank you. We'll talk to you again very soon, Maria. Have a great day. All right. What did you think of Maria Buenano?